Welcome home, everyone. This is Unrooted, a podcast for those who belong nowhere and everywhere. And today I'm joined by my guest, Oli, a very good friend of mine.
Hello.
And very excited to be here and have this little chat with you. You look amazing, by the way. I love your jewelry and the color contrast. Very pretty. Anyway, so very excited to have this chat with you. Finally, we've rescheduled
so many times.
And I don't know why I was scared. I was like, I feel like something might. When you sent me the voice note, I was like, oh no. But
I'm here. I made it.
Yeah, we're here.
I'm a bit nervous, but super happy to be here.
Yes. Okay. So Oli and I know each other through your brother, Pedro.
Yes.
We talked a little bit about him in the previous episode with Seb. We all kind of know each other. I met Pedro first, and then I met you, and then I met Seb, and then I met Renate, and we all know each other basically through Pedro, right?
But I feel like this is the moment where we're most connected between all of us, because before it's we knew each other and we were really good friends of one person or the other, but we were all traveling constantly. So now I feel like we're all a little bit more grounded than previous years.
Yes,
I guess.
Yes,
no?
Exactly. Maybe a little more
rooted.
But yeah, and I'm so happy to be living in the same city as you. Mm-hmm. As some of you may or may not know, I moved to Madrid last summer, and I had no idea where to go because I didn't know anybody in Madrid except for Oli, who had moved here. When did you move to Madrid?
Oof, that's another complicated story.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a moment. But basically, Oli was the only person that I knew in Madrid, and when I was looking for a place to live, because I was looking for a room or an apartment, and I remember you were really trying to help me, and I really appreciate you for that because I remember you sent me a voice note, and you were like, Michelle, I have amazing news with this apartment. I was like, oh my gosh, she's really, really trying to help me with this. But you did, because I ended up in Cohabs thanks to Oli, because she knew our mutual friend Renate, who I didn't know at the time. Obviously, she's a good friend now. But at the time, I didn't know Renate, but she was Seb's sister. And Oli told me about Cohabs, which is a co-living, this place that I'm living in right now. And they have a few houses in Madrid and around the world. But Oli, she told me about her friend Renate, who was living in this co-living called Cohabs, and that she loved it. And you put me in contact with her, and I spoke to Renate. And anyway, I'm so happy I'm here because I have made so many friends. I've met so many people. I have made so many amazing memories. And I just love this room as well. And this is where Unrooted started. So thanks to Oli.
I'm so happy that it turned so well for you. And at the beginning, I was just sending you a bunch of apartments and things that I saw on Instagram from other friends. But then I thought wait, Renate is so happy living in Cohabs.
Yeah.
I think Michelle would be perfect for Cohabs as well because you're so international.
Yeah.
And then it worked out amazingly.
Exactly. Cohabs is very much for those who feel international, because there's so many nationalities here in this building, so and in Cohabs in general. So I'm so happy here. So thank you, Oli, for that. But so Oli, you were born in Spain, right? We're going to talk a little bit about your background.
It's a bit complicated, but let's do it.
Well, I love that. That's what Unrooted is everybody has a complicated background, but that's what's so awesome about it.
Okay, so here it goes. I actually dread this question every time. I'm like, oh, where are you from? Or
I talked about that in one of the first episodes or the second episode about dreading that question because
I hate it.
It's never a just a one word answer.
No, it's so long. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm just. If I'm tired, I'm like, okay, I'm Spanish. I'm from Madrid. That's it. But I don't really feel like I'm from here.
Yeah.
Bueno, here it goes.
I was going to say, I'm the same. I just say Marbella in the end.
Sí.
But now that you're telling the story on here, if people ever ask you, just be like, just look at the episode of Unrooted.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
This is great because it's going to save me so much time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, bueno, pues I was born in Marbella. Then when I was 4, I moved to Miami for 1 year, which this you didn't know. Just 1 year. Of course, I don't remember anything because it was like from the age of 4 to 5. Then I went back home to Marbella.
That's so random. Why did you go to Miami?
I don't even know. I never asked my parents really. I think because of my dad's job. So my dad was a tennis teacher. So like we traveled a lot because of that. Then when I was 8, we moved to London. And I was in London till the age of 15. And then I was in Dubai for 2 years. And then I moved back to London for 1 year. Then I moved here to Spain for 1 year. And then moved back to London for another 2. And it was like ping pong. Like
what?
Going from one place to another.
Wow. I didn't know you had moved around that I thought that you were born in Spain and maybe lived here till you were like 5 and then moved to England and you were there until you were 18 and then moved back to Spain. No. I didn't know you had...
It was a ping pong. And even when I was living in London, because in London in total, I was there for like 10 years. So I grew up there basically. So we used to move like every year almost. There was like a time of like maybe 3 years that we stayed in the same house, but we used to move every so often because then the summer holidays would come and then we would want to spend the whole summer holidays in Spain. So then we would come back in September and move into another house. So it was like different areas of London as well. So it's a big hectic because I never had like growing up, let's say like this stable home or a place where I could call like my room or my home, you know?
Wow.
I think this is the first time in my life where I feel most like I have a place, you know, like stable.
Wow, that's so interesting. Yeah, you didn't really have that stability because like it's interesting what you say, like my room, something to call my room, my home, because I grew up in the same I moved into the house that I have now, well, that my parents live in Marbella when I was 4 years old, and that's still my house. It's gone through some changes, but my room, my wallpaper is still the same from when I was like 15.
I've never had that. And the same thing with like growing up in the same school. Like I moved to so many different schools. So like I don't have this thing like my boyfriend here. Like I feel really grateful because I'm friends with his friends from when he was in school living here in Madrid growing up. But I don't have that clang of my school friends that I grew up with them. Like I have like many different friends from many different schools.
Yeah.
Sí.
Wow, that's so cool. Amazing.
Bueno.
I mean, it must have been hard. I can imagine like not having that stability and maybe having to say goodbye a lot.
Yeah.
You probably got used to saying goodbye, you know?
I don't know. No, I cried a lot whenever I had to say goodbye to friends. Yeah. And then obviously it's like friends that you feel like they're going to be like friends for a lifetime, even though like distance is not going to change anything. But then it does change, you know?
Yeah.
So I do know a lot of people everywhere, but like in the end, I only have like really good friends, like maybe 1 or maximum 2 from each place.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
But I guess that's more important, not to have like the quality, the ones that you really like feel connected to, I guess.
So what is the city or the place that you spent the most time in growing up? Was it England or was it Spain?
Yeah, it was England.
It was England.
It was London.
It was London, right?
So,
what was your favorite neighborhood in London?
Portobello, because my school was in Portobello. So the thing that kept me rooted to Spain, let's say, it was my school, because I used to go to the Spanish school in Portobello.
So you did your schooling in Spanish?
Yes. Of course, we had English classes. So from the age of 8 till the age of 15. Then when I came back the second time, so I finished I did 8. Oh, it's so complicated. 8 to 15 in Spanish school in London. Then 15 to 17, 2 years in Dubai, and then my last year of school back in London, and that was in Richmond College.
And that was in English?
And that was in English, and that was A-levels, like finishing my last year of A-levels.
What?
So it's very complicated. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That must have been so weird, switching from a Spanish school system to an English school system in that short amount of time. And there was
actually, it was great because it was easier. Like Spanish system was way more complicated. So for me, I don't know, I enjoyed it more. And at the end of the day, it reached a point that growing up in London with my brother and like friends from there, I started speaking more in English than in Spanish. So it felt very nice to suddenly be in Dubai and only speak English. Like, I don't know why. I think it was like a teenage, like, tonteria, like silly thing that I just le cogí manía. How do you say that in English? Like, I didn't want to talk in Spanish anymore. Like, I was like, oh, Spanish. You know, and I just wanted to speak in English.
That's so funny because I was the same.
Sí.
I think maybe we did chat about this at one point. I can't remember.
Sí, because I heard it in one of the podcasts.
Yeah,
and I could relate.
Yeah, and I did mention that in one of the episodes that I also le cogí manía al español también. I just didn't feel like I wanted to speak in Spanish at all. But like for me, it was for a long time. It was like my entire teenagehood, pretty much. When I was a child, like that, I didn't really think about it that much. But I think like when I went to Aloha, the school that I went to, that's when I was really anti-Spanish for some reason.
See, I don't know why
I don't know either. I don't know either if I just like couldn't be bothered switching between the two, or because I wanted to be a part of something. I wanted to be a part of like the English tribe, the English world. I wanted to fit in, and I thought that was better. So I completely like abandoned my Spanish side and only with speaking in English. And yeah, it's really bad. And obviously now looking back, I regret it a lot, but whatever. It's something that can be solved. It's not a big deal, but
you know, I think it might be also connected to because you were hanging around maybe with English people, you know?
Yeah,
because at that time I was not going to Spain that much. And I felt like it didn't feel like part of me, like speaking in Spanish, you know? I wasn't connected to like let's say my family as much because I didn't see them so often.
Yeah.
And even every time I used to go back on summer holidays to Spain, my family used to be like, oh, the English girl, oh, la inglesita, no? And actually my family WhatsApp group, it's a very big family because my mom had eight brothers. So it's a huge WhatsApp group with all the members. And it's called Amazing Family because I used to always go back to Spain in the summer and I always used to say amazing to everything and they used to laugh at me. So it's called the Amazing Family.
It's true. You actually say amazing a lot.
A lot.
That's so
too much.
Yeah. I say awesome a lot. Awesome. Or anyway. I say anyway a lot. Anyway.
So yeah.
Pero the Dubai part really surprises me because I didn't know that. And was that also for tennis that your family moved there?
Yeah.
How random.
He was a tennis teacher and he was a really good tennis teacher. And one rich guy living there, he was like, would you be interested in moving to Dubai and like teaching me privates and my kids and my family?
Wow.
So that's how it happened.
That's insane. Yeah. How was that experience? Like high school there, going out, people?
It was intense. The first year it was amazing because obviously it's a new thing and it's like so glamorous and being the new kid is always so fun, no? Because everyone wants to be your friend and you feel like kind of famous. This is great. That's the best part about like going into new school. But then it gets hard. Because I don't know,
it's funny how like that sort of new fresh meat vibe of like going into new school, whatever, you become like everybody's fixation, or not fixation, but everybody's like, who is this person?
And the ego loves it.
Yeah.
The ego is like, oh yes, give me more.
Yeah.
But then it became a little bit toxic. Like I realized that I became friends with maybe not the best people, more like the popular people and that weren't really interested in like who really I was. And I feel like it's a very important moment in your life of like who you become friends with because it really shapes your personality, no? I guess.
Yes.
And I realized like at the end when I had to move again, like the people that were really there for me, I didn't hang out with them as much. And it was like, such a shame. And I only realized at the very end.
Wow.
I was also in 2 different schools. There's 2 years in Dubai. I was the first year in an American one, and then the second in a British one, because I realized I wanted to do A-levels. And the first year, it was great because it was more like there was more Arab people, and I learned Arabic, and I was really good at it, actually. I don't remember anything right now, but I really enjoyed that experience. And then the second year, it was Dubai British School, and it felt like I would go in the morning, and it was like being in England again, but like in a really posh school. It was crazy.
Wow.
And then Dubai, I started seeing like the materialistic things and how people just move through money and through, I don't know, like this one time I was with one friend at the mall, and she was like, oh, my dad is going to cut my credit card, and like I'm not going to be able to buy Prada bags anymore. And I was like, oh my God, like I live in a very humble situation, even if I'm living in Dubai. Like,
yeah, it must have been such a contrast, such a weird...
Yes.
Because I honestly, I don't see your family in Dubai. Like, Dubai does not suit you guys
You're a very
at
humble
all.
family.
Yeah, I really don't see that at all. So that's super interesting. I didn't know that.
So yeah, these things that, I mean, if you're into that, amazing, but I wasn't. So I started seeing like the toxic part of it. I guess like the unrooted part.
Yes, yes. And you know, I've talked to somebody who also lived in Dubai, and they said like Dubai can be fun if you're really into luxury.
Yeah.
You know, if like luxury is your thing, then yeah, Dubai is probably a good place for you. But if that's not really your vibe, then because Madrid is, in my opinion, such a humble city. I feel like really the humility of Madrid, and it's
and I feel like everyone gets along, even like with when you go down to buy fruits or to the market, like everyone gets along and everyone is really themselves. There's no fakeness. Like if someone says hi to you and how are you, is like genuine.
Yes,
it's not fake.
Yeah.
It's like completely different in Dubai.
Yeah.
Like, you really don't know where that question is coming from. Whereas here is like, oh, they're being genuinely nice.
Yeah. Like the little fruits, vegetable store that's just down the street that I go to. Like, I picked out an avocado and I came to the register to check out, and he felt the avocado for me, and he was like, no, this one's not good. I'll pick another one, a better one for you. So he went to the avocados and he was like touching the avocados, and he was like, this one's better. This one's
that's
better.
So nice.
I was like, oh, that's so sweet. He really didn't have to do that.
Yeah, but it's amazing. Yeah. Then you get home, you open the avocado, and you're like, oh.
And it was a great avocado. So yeah, no, I love that. I really love that about Madrid. And you know what? Coming back home yesterday from Marbella, I got into Atocha, the train station, and I was like, and I thought to myself, I was like, wow, I live in Madrid and I'm so happy to be here. And like, I really just wasn't expecting that last year. You know, I wasn't expecting to be living in Madrid at all. And now I'm here, and it's like, I don't know, it's so great. I'm so happy to be
here. I get that feeling every time I travel as well, and I get back and I'm like, I feel so grateful to live here.
Yes. Yeah, me too. Me too. Absolutely.
I feel like we're patronizando. How do you say patronizando?
Yeah. Sponsoring Madrid. Exactly. Really, we are. I've thought about it. I was like, maybe I should like reach out to like the town hall in Madrid and be like, look what I'm doing for you.
Since we're talking about Madrid, like I didn't want to move initially to Madrid.
Oh, okay.
I was like in denial with Madrid.
Okay.
Because I had to move. So I was back living in London, studying 2 years, acting.
Yeah.
And then my dad was sick. And then Brexit was coming, and my boyfriend also wanted to move back to Madrid. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just go to Madrid for a little bit. But my plan was always to go back to London.
Yeah.
So the first year was really hard here.
Yeah. And what year was that?
This was end of 2018. So I've been here now for a long time.
Okay.
But that first year, second year, I wasn't really in Madrid because I was like trying to escape it. And then also pandemic came. And I was like, I just want to be in London.
Wow,
and I was
really?
Like a few months here in Madrid, a few months in Ibiza, like for the summer season.
Yeah.
And then I realized I was just like pushing against the idea of living here, and I was very unhappy, and I realized I really need to change, like my way of thinking and live in the present, because obviously London seems like it's not happening. Like the universe doesn't want London in my life right now. So the moment I surrendered to being here, I started falling in love with Madrid.
Wow. Okay. That's funny because it was a similar experience for me when I was in New York, and I had that feeling like the universe was like, Michelle, New York is not for you. Leave. My sister actually was the one who suggested, she was like, why don't you think about moving to Madrid? And I was really like, no. Like I was in denial about that too. I was like, no, like what am I going to do in Spain? What am I going to do in Madrid? But now I'm here, and like, yes, I was in denial for a long time, but once I got here, I was like, okay, this could work. This could be a good thing for me, you know. And as like the months went by, I was like, I actually really want to stay here. So it's funny actually that we both had that similar experience. But I think when you moved in 2018, Madrid wasn't that different, but I feel like it was a little different.
It's changed quite a lot. Yeah. Now it's way more international.
Yeah. And I think like if I was in your position moving at that time, I think I would have been like really like, no, because I would have felt so out of place. Like, you know, being somebody who's like lived outside of Spain for some time and feel very international and feel more comfortable speaking in English, I think I would have felt so out of place in Madrid. But
you know, it was the moment that I really surrendered and like trusted like the universe putting me in Madrid, that so many opportunities started coming. And like, actually, I'm really grateful, as I mentioned before, for the group of friends of my boyfriend. And they all, like, most of them studied in, I think it was a British school here or an international school.
Okay.
So I still get a chance to talk to them in English.
Oh, nice.
Or like, cause I feel like the language that's more comfortable for me is Spanglish. So I feel like if I do Spanglish, like, and it comes natural, it's not forced at all.
Yeah.
But that's happened to me at the beginning when I moved to Madrid, that Spanglish would come out and people would look at me weird and be like, why are you saying things in English? And I was like, oh, did I? I'm sorry, I didn't realize, you know, because I sometimes I really don't realize. Like when I say something in Spanish, if I'm speaking in English, the way around. And when with this group of friends, I just feel so comfortable because I can just like speak in whatever.
That's so nice. Yeah, I remember in New Year's, I was kind of doing the same. I was doing a bit of Spanglish. I try not to. Like, I've been on a couple dates with Spanish-speaking Spanish guys, you know? Or, well, not Spanish guys, but Spanish-speaking guys, because one of them was not from Spain, but from Venezuela, whatever. Anyway. And I would fully do all those dates in, like, full Spanish, not Spanglish, because they didn't speak English. But I would catch myself just, like, some words would slip out in English without realizing, you know?
It's so natural for us.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like so much more comfortable doing that because there's some words or something that I want to express that you don't really find the word for in Spanish, and vice versa, actually. Sometimes there's a word, surprisingly, that I'm like trying to think of in English, and I'm like, you know what? No, I can better express this feeling with this Spanish word. But yeah, I was just gonna say, because I remember when we spoke about we were talking about like moving to Madrid, moving back to Spain. For you, how did you feel? So you didn't feel very comfortable. Did you feel comfortable, like, for example, when you were communicating yourself in Spanish? Like, was there like some slang or some expressions that you were just like, what is this? Or
when I moved back from...
like when you fully moved to Madrid.
So that was hard because I felt like, okay, I sound completely Spanish, but I express myself really bad. And for example, going to have lunch with my boyfriend's family, I would get really paranoid, like thinking, oh my God, his grandparents might think like I'm so bad at language, like I speak so bad, like how am I expressing myself this way if I'm fully Spanish? Like I would get really embarrassed of how I'm just speaking, really.
Yeah, I'm the same.
And also in front of my family, because sometimes they would laugh, like out of love, you know, it wouldn't be out of making fun of me, but I would express myself in a weird way or make up a word in Spanish. I used to do this a lot. My boyfriend used to say like, "Oh, that's another word for your made up Spanish dictionary." So I would just like be really afraid that like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, so growing up, when I would say restaurante in Spanish, I would say restaurant. I don't know why.
Which is French, no?
Yes.
I don't know.
It's just, no, it is restaurant. But my mom, because my mom was born in Canada, so French is her second language, and she speaks a lot of French. So there's some words that my mom says that I picked up that I assumed were Spanish. So I would say restaurant. And like when I started hanging around Spanish people in England, which is funny because I worked in Zara for a little while in England, and a lot of people in Zara that were working there were Spanish, and I would say restaurant, and my Spanish friends were like, Michelle, ¿por qué dices restaurant? And I'm like, porque un restaurant, and she's like, restaurante, and I'm like, what? And yeah. And I told my mom, and you know what? Like, I think I'm just like, I feel like it's a blonde moment. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to get canceled. I feel like it was a really dumb moment for me because obviously, like, everywhere you go in Spanish, it will say restaurante, like restaurante, whatever, Los Pacos or whatever, you know? But I don't know why I would say restaurant. And I told my mom, and she was like, well, it's because you have a funny way of saying words in Spanish. And I thought and she was like, I thought it was really cute, so I didn't want to correct you. And I was like, what? And that's not the only thing. I'm trying to think of other words that I would say in Spanish that were not correct at all. Like, for example, guiñoter. Okay.
What's guiñoter?
Guiñoter in the car, like the little flicky, indicator. The indicator to indicate if you're going right or left in French is guiñoter, right? And I thought that was I thought it was a Spanish word because
in Spanish.
No sé,
Intermitente.
But my mom was always saying guiñoter. So I thought that was Spanish. So when I started doing my driving lessons, I would say to the driving instructor, ay, el guiñoter, tengo que poner el guiñoter. And he'd be like, what the fuck is un guiñoter? And I was like, ¿esto?
It's a great story. I love this. Es que me puedo relate completely. O sea,
yeah.
Me pasaba igual.
Yeah. And literal, I would tell my mom again, like, why didn't you tell me that wasn't a Spanish word? Like, so many things. I'm like, if I think of more, I will, but like, that's the only ones that are popping in my head right now. But yeah, yeah.
It was a very like hard moment.
Yeah.
But it's funny because once I started living more here, and spending more time with like Spanish people and my Spanish family, and just like, it reached a point at the beginning that I stopped speaking in English. And then it changed. Like, suddenly, I started traveling again and I had to speak in English, or maybe I met up with English friends and I was speaking in English and it felt weird to talk in English. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening? Happening? This used to be the other way around.
Wow. Interesting.
And now, let's say I've been more like stable in Madrid, in Spain for like the past officially 3 years.
Wow.
And now I feel really comfortable speaking in Spanish.
That's so
sometimes
good.
Even more than English. So it's like changed around.
Wow. Wow. For me, my Spanish has improved dramatically since, well, not just since moving back to Spain, but actually also because I was working at a Spanish restaurant in New York. So I was surrounded by a lot of Spanish speaking people. I picked up a few like, Mexican sayings and stuff because like a lot of like the people who were working in Casamono were from Mexico, but also Costa Rica and Puerto Rico, El Salvador, but mostly from Mexico. And when I'm speaking in Spanish, I've had some Spanish people here in Madrid tell me that I sound Mexican when I speak in Spanish. And I'm like, what? I don't know. I think it's from hanging around in that group. But
I can relate to this as well.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of Colombian friends. And sometimes their accent, their Spanish accent, like I don't know. I get influenced by it. And then actually it happened because I'm a yoga teacher, and it happened one time I was teaching a class in Spanish, and suddenly I said something in a very Colombian way, and it even shocked myself. I was like, oh no, people are going to get even more confused. I'm not Colombian. I sound so much.
Bro, that's so funny. You know what? Some of like Renate's expressions are getting stuck on me. Like I'll be like, I love to say chévere. I said it yesterday in the Uber. And when I'm drunk, marica.
Marica, look. I know marica.
Yeah, and I love it. I really love it. O huevón. I love huevón. But you know what? My sister, because she's married to Colombian, sometimes I notice she sounds Colombian when she's talking.
It's also crazy, like, for the brain, how used it gets to the ambient, the atmosphere. No, how do you say this in English? You see, now I'm getting stuck in English.
Ambientes?
See, to the atmosphere that you're like living in.
Yeah.
No? Como, or like the people that you talk
that you're surrounded
that
you're surrounded with. The environment. Yeah.
Your brain just like gets used very quickly to
adapts
very quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
But what I was saying was that, so there, like, I feel like my Spanish improved a lot, and then here as well. But I'm not gonna lie, if I spend many hours speaking in Spanish, I get tired. Like, even my tongue gets tired. My mouth gets tired. I'm like, and then when I'm like tired, I switch to English, because like with English, I don't have to think. I don't have to do anything. But like with Spanish,
for me, back in the day.
Yeah. So I think like maybe in another few months, I will like become more comfortable speaking Spanish, that my brain won't have to like think so much.
I guess maybe even a little bit longer, because here in Cohabs you speak more English, no? Because there's a lot of international people.
Yeah.
Like, because for me it was more of like a strong change. Cause it was like working in Spanish and like
True.
With my boyfriend every now and then I also speak in Spanglish, but also like speaking in Spanish with him at home, and like it was like really like going fully in Spanish.
True.
It's harder if you wake up in the morning and speak in English, like your brain is still like.
True. It's true, because most people here are international. I mean, like, obviously I have Renate, Maria, and like I always try to speak in Spanish with them, but it's like when we're mixed, when there's a big group of us, there's non-Spanish speakers as well. And obviously I personally feel rude speaking in a language that other people don't understand. So yeah. Anyway, also wanted to mention, you mentioned that you're a yoga teacher, and Oli is also an actress. We both have acting backgrounds. We've lived in that world, and something we had like spoken about was like, because we've both kind of, I think, faced moments where in outside of Spain, we're like kind of maybe Spanish looking, Spanish sounding, whatever. So in maybe like as a foreigner, but in our own country, we also felt like foreigners, you know? And I think that also affected us as actresses, because for me personally, being, for example, in New York, it was really hard to start a career as an actor. First of all, the visa, you know, like, agencies, they don't want to deal with artist visas because it complicates the situation for them. They don't know how it's kind of unstable, you know. They don't know if like if you're going to be able to renew your visa, so in which case you would have to leave the country, all this stuff. Also, maybe you don't like sound the most American, so they would have to place you in a box where I mean, for my case, I think I can definitely get away with sounding American, but yeah, for sure. Yeah, but you, like, I feel like you would probably get placed in a box of like, okay, she's like the Spanish girl or whatever, and then you would probably play a lot of those type of roles. And then, from my understanding, when I spoke to your mom, she said that you had trouble auditioning for Spanish roles because you don't look very Spanish. I mean, to some people you look very Spanish, but I think maybe to Spanish you look quite.
I look very Latin for Spanish.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You
so
could
they
definitely
always like send me like auditions for like the Latina.
Yeah.
Say, and even with the accent, they say I don't have like an actual Spanish accent, that I have like a weird accent. Like,
Yeah.
People always ask me if I'm from Latin America.
Yeah.
And I think it's because my accent has been shaped by all the places that I lived in.
Yeah.
And like the people that I...
Yeah. But you know what? Even your like rasgos, tienes como rasgos de what's the word? Como de indio, de indígena. Eso. I was gonna say de los indios, but I don't know if that's the indigenous. Exactly. Exactly. You do have a slight undertone of indigenous.
I do think maybe my ancestors, or
I feel like from your dad's side, because your mom is blonde.
I don't know, that I know of, completely not. Like,
yeah,
fully Spanish, but maybe like I don't know, my ancestors, or maybe another life, who knows? Because even when I've been to Colombia, I've been quite a lot. I feel like I'm from that land.
Wow.
When I've like been with indigenous people, like, I don't know, it just feels very natural. It feels like I'm at home. So I don't know, maybe there's something there. That's
wow, in your soul, something. Interesting. But
see, it's been hard because obviously being an actress and wanting to work here in Spain is just, it's been harder than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here. When I moved back last summer, I was really determined. I was like, oh, well, like maybe it'll be easier because there's less competition. In New York, everybody wants to be an actor. Same as LA, whatever. And I thought, yeah, there'll be less competition. Maybe I'll stand out more because maybe there's not a lot of like actresses in Spain that sound as American as I do. So maybe if there's like an episode on freaking, I don't know, some Spanish Netflix show that they need an American girl or something like that, maybe I could do that, whatever. But no, it's been really hard actually. And but you know, like whenever an audition pops up, I do it, and it's nice to kind of reconnect with my acting side a bit. And you know, like I have found my own way to get on camera by doing this podcast, and I've kind of made peace with the fact that I'm not doing acting as much as I was in New York, because I moved into New York for that purpose and to do that. And, you know, kind of pulling away from that once I moved back to Spain really worried me. And I was like, oh, I didn't make my dreams come true in New York, blah, 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 blah. But I feel like I've made peace with it now.
That's really important. I'm really happy to hear that as well, because I feel like it's necessary. Like, it can become such a toxic industry, and your mental health can really be affected by it.
Yeah.
So to make peace with that, I think it's so important to find other passions and other things that you love.
Absolutely.
Because that's been yoga for me.
Yes, exactly.
I love this journey. And teaching people yoga and like growing deeper in my practice. Like, I feel so rooted.
It suits you so much as well, because you have such a calm energy, such a beautiful spirit. Ollie, honestly, like, you have such a beautiful soul. I feel like you don't have like a mean bone in your body. I feel like, I don't know, you always have a smile on your face, always so positive. I'm sure you have your days, and
you know, but see, even when I'm driving, and people sometimes peep at me, or like, I'm like, but why? Oh, I send you energy. I just take a deep inhale. I send them energy. I hope they have a good day.
Oh my God.
Or they're peeping. I'm like, what's their problem? Chill. They get it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that.
So for anyone that needs to relax and connect a little bit deeper, I am Oliva Yoga Madrid on Instagram, and I do all sort of events, women's circles as well, workshops. Actually, what does this say? Ready for some yoga?
Oh my God, I didn't realize. And you know what? I was, hey, the White Lotus. But is this merch of the White Lotus? No way. Oh my God. It looks like my tattoo.
You ready for some yoga? contact me.
Oh my God, where did you get it? I love it.
H&M or Zara. I don't know. It was a birthday present.
You know what? I was gonna say I love that you wore this this shirt because it's a nice pop of color.
See,
Because
I really like colors.
yeah, wow, no, I love it. But what was I gonna say?
Actually,
Yeah,
you, ¿cómo se dice? Estás tardando. You say in Spanish, it's like a saying como, you're taking long to come to my yoga classes. I'm waiting.
yeah, I know, but I've signed up for the
yoga in the park.
Yes, the women's circle.
Ah,
Yeah,
you did?
you said you.
Okay.
You sent it to me on WhatsApp.
Okay, if I send you the confirmation, that's good.
Sí, no, me lo mandaste y te dije que sí. Sí, with the cacao ceremony, I'm so excited. I thought it was this Sunday. And then Renate told me this morning it's on the 11th of April. And I got so bummed out because I was so excited about it. But
now there's a waiting list of like 6 girls already.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to open another one for the 1st of June.
Okay.
So if you're interested in coming to a women's circle, there's going to be a cacao ceremony. We're going to do oracle cards, an optional speaking circle.
Oh my
God. Meditation. We're going to do affirmations and intentions. It's going to be very special. I feel like it literally sold out like 2 hours after posting it. And I think it's because we're in so much need of these spaces for us to gather and connect.
I'm so excited.
It's very special because we can relate so much to every woman's story. Like,
yeah.
I feel sometimes that we're alone and that we're feeling these emotions just ourselves.
Yeah.
And actually, we all go through them.
Yeah.
Because fucking hormones and society.
Yeah.
They can get intense sometimes.
Yeah. Wow. I'm so excited. Really looking forward to it. Also, Ollie, in the previous episode with Sebastian, we talked about Roots Within. Ollie is part of the team that runs this holistic retreat in Colombia. She's doing it together with Sebastian and a couple other people that I haven't met yet, but hopefully we'll meet when I do this retreat. And I think it's going really well, right?
It's going super well. I feel really grateful to be one of the co-creators and the community that we're building, especially because it's people from all over the world. And I feel like it's the same kind of community that you're building and growing, because it's international people that love to travel, people that want to learn about other cultures and their rituals and their ceremonies, and ground a little bit in this way. Like you don't necessarily need to ground in the way in the place that you live or in the culture that you're born into. No? I feel like you can also ground a lot in other people's cultures and other people's home. And the place where we're holding this retreat, One Santuario, it's an insane place where like it feels, the moment you arrive there, it feels at home.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, no, I'm very excited to experience that. But what was I gonna say?
So if you want to join, if you want to look into it, check out Roots Within Retreats.
Yes. And also Ollie went recently did a retreat in Nepal, right?
So I went to do a 350 hours yoga teacher training. So it wasn't really a retreat. It was like, I felt like I wanted to become a student again, because I had been working so much and like offering and serving, and I was in need of receiving myself a little bit as well. And it was a whole month in Nepal, and it was amazing to be a student again. It was crazy, because it was waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning to do yoga practice, and it was like yoga all the time. Like,
wow.
I had Indian teachers from Rishikesh, and they were insane. Like, it was so good to experience this side of yoga, like where yoga actually is from, where it was born, and to learn it from its traditional place. And my teachers were just insane. And
wow,
the meditation, the breath work, the pranayama sessions, it was really good.
Wow. Did you get sick of yoga at one point?
I don't think I ever will.
That's amazing.
I got sick of the food, I must say. It was like, I love spicy food and I really liked Indian food, but after 2 weeks, I was like, I cannot do this anymore. And then the diarrhea just started coming and I was like, oh, I want my Spanish food. I want my tortilla de patata,
so
fish. I really needed the protein. And of course, they're like, you cannot really trust, like, you cannot go anywhere to have lunch.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a third world, how, is that what you call it?
Third world country, underdeveloped, yeah.
Developed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of contamination. Some places are very dirty and the water, you have to be really careful with the water. So if they washed something with the very dirty water, like you can get diarrhea or like a stomach thing. So you have to be really, really careful. So I think this was the only thing that I was already like, okay, I'm ready to go back to Europe.
Yeah. I remember when you came back, we went to get some food on your birthday.
Prawns and ensaladilla rusa. Yeah.
Scallops.
I love Spanish.
Escalopes. That's one of the words that I picked up in Casamono was escalopes.
English.
Scallops?
Scallops. Okay.
Yeah.
So you
and they called it escalopes because we sold escalopes in Casamono and they would always call it escalopes. So I was always calling it escalopes, but
you said escalopes and the guy looked at you, like, what?
Yeah, he was like, what the fuck?
And then I said biedas, and then he was like, biedas? And then he said another word. He called it differently. What was it?
I don't know.
He called it in a different
It was a weird word. I prefer escalopes. Just easier. I'm gonna stick to that.
And I thought, I was so confident, like, no, biedas. And he was like, and he called it a different way. And I was like, did I get it wrong as well?
Yeah, what was it?
I don't know.
I can't remember. Anyway, whatever.
Happens to us.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know. I can never get tired of yoga. Like, I feel once you begin that journey, like, it's never ending.
Yeah.
You can never jump off that train because it's very healing.
Yeah. And, just back to what you said about, like, sending energy, like, being positive and stuff.
Changes your way of thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like I kind of mentioned this in the previous episode, but just, maintaining that positive energy. And you know what? I have become very self-aware when I'm being negative, or like when I was in Marbella with my parents, there were moments that I was being grumpy because parents can sometimes drive you a little bit crazy, and there was moments that I have actually a really funny story. They were driving me crazy with something, and I was just like being really grumpy, and I was like, oh, whatever, I rolled my eyes and I kind of gave a short answer, and then I was like, be grateful. They're just trying to help. Like, it's okay. Like, like, just relax. It's fine. And I just kind of like try to correct myself, So
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, me too.
That's where it begins, that consciousness. Because obviously we're gonna get angry, like, fucking city life and circumstances. Yeah. But it's just being aware of how you react to those things.
Yes.
And how you can transform how you feel towards certain things, or how you respond in certain ways. Because at the end of the day, like, you really want to move from and live from a place of love. Because from a place of love, more love comes into your life. If you move in the other direction, then more negative stuff keep building up.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I just try to acknowledge it, understand why I'm reacting this way and why I'm feeling this way, and just like correct it and brush it off and be like, okay, like,
Well, rather than brush it off.
Oh, okay.
Because you don't want to brush it under a carpet.
Okay.
Then it's like the carpet becomes
lumpy,
and then the carpet gets broken.
Or you trip over and you hit your head and you lose a tooth.
Yeah, I know that. But I was trying to say that you cannot brush it off, because if you brush it off, then it's
you can't ignore it. I guess what I meant was like maybe learn from it.
Let's see, learn how to deal with that.
Yeah, and just
deal with it.
Yeah, deal with it
in a positive way.
Yeah, exactly. And then just try to Yeah. Yeah, because when you learn from it, I think for future moments like that, you won't do it, or you won't do it as much, or you'll change the way you react in those similar moments. Yeah.
Nos estamos yendo por las ramas.
Yes, going off the branches. Oh, the funny story I was going to tell, but you know what? I'm going to leave it because it's too long. I'll tell you off camera. It was funny.
We're speaking a lot.
Yeah, going a little, but anyway, we were coming to the end with the whole yoga stuff. But you know what? Like, I was like the moments before recording an episode, I get a little stress because I'm like, oh, I have to do this. Like I think initially I think of it as a task, but then once I'm doing it, I'm like, no, this is so much fun because I'm just having a conversation, and it's so nice, you know.
I was a bit nervous at the beginning. I mean, maybe I still am a little bit.
Yes. No, I feel like you're super relaxed. You seem really relaxed.
I'm happy that it's in your bed.
Yeah, I know. That's why I love doing it in my bed, because like it really does. It relaxes you. It's just I want it to be not so much like, oh, I'm doing an interview, so what did you do? You know what I mean? It's more just like
it feels at home. It feels like a safe space.
Exactly. This is where you can feel at home. And so, do you feel, just to slowly wrap up, do you feel like you're more connected to your Spanishness? Do you feel sometimes you're still somewhere in between? Do you feel more rooted now?
This is a really good question.
Ooh.
So for the first time in my life, I feel more Spanish. And I feel the most rooted, and like I have a stable home and place. And I'm happy to call myself Spanish. Before I was embarrassed because I felt like people would judge me, and I didn't feel that connected. I didn't even feel that connected to my family because, you know, I felt a bit disconnected to them. And now, because after these 3 years of just being most of my time here in Spain, and like every so often, it's practically every month or twice a month, there's a big family lunch and gathering. So I've been seeing them a lot. And having my own apartment here and my group of friends, like I have a whole life.
Yeah.
You know? So
you've built that life.
For the first time I'm 28 now.
Yeah, because obviously you were with your parents, and when you were moving around, you were moving around a lot with your parents. So it was kind of on their terms, and you weren't really able to build your life. You just had to kind of go behind them and what they were doing. But now you're on your own, and you have this amazing relationship with your boyfriend, and you have the cutest little house in Lavapiés, and you're doing this with your yoga. You're building something really cool with that, and you have your friends here. Yeah.
And even though I am happy to I was going to say consider, but no, to say that I'm Spanish, because I am, and to be rooted and have a home, I still feel really grateful that thanks to yoga, I get to travel a lot. And I travel a lot. Like I suddenly go 1 month to Nepal, or 1 month to Colombia, or maybe Thailand, or maybe 1 weekend here, 1 weekend there. And some people are, oh, you're more outside than in Spain. And I guess sometimes it can feel like that, but knowing that I always come back to my home, to my family, to my friends, and it reaches the point that I go for a month somewhere, and then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go back home.
Okay.
See, nice. I don't think I want to move again.
Okay.
Who knows in 5 years, but now I'm just so happy to.
So yeah, you have you're rooted in Madrid, but at the same time you or maybe you're unrooted, but your base is Madrid. Or maybe you're a tree rooted in Madrid, and your leaves go to Nepal and another leaf goes to Colombia.
I love that image completely.
Yeah,
because I think it's also like I don't think it's something that I can change. Like, it's something that's become part of my personality, you know? Like, here in Spain we call it culo inquieto. I'm an, ¿cómo se dice inquieto in English?
Kind of restless, I guess.
I'm a restless butt. That's the saying.
I think that
because I grew up with that, and now it's become part of my personality. So if I didn't have the opportunity to travel around that much, maybe I wouldn't feel as comfortable here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's just kind of like almost in our DNA now to move around. We can't stay in one place. And when I moved to Madrid and I started to feel comfortable here and I was happy here, I was like, you know what? I think this is where I'm going to stay, because it's Liverpool, London, New York, and now Madrid. I was like, in my mind, I was like, I think this is where I'm going to stay. This is what I'm going to call my home now. But sometimes I wonder, I'm like, maybe I will kind of pick up everything again and move again. But I don't think so. I think I'm going to do what you're doing and have Madrid as my base, one of my homes. Marbella will always be like a home for me, but Madrid will be like my base, and then, you know, travel and move around. And now that I have this new job, I have like more of the means to travel and see the world a bit more, because there's so much that I want to see and there's so much I want to do. So yeah, I think that's kind of like my plan now, is to have Madrid as my home and travel here and there.
And it's a very different feeling, no? Traveling, knowing that you've got your place.
Yes.
That you got your home, and like, and that you knowing what you're going back to.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? What we're coming back to is an amazing thing. You know, I really look forward to coming back to Madrid whenever I've like left. So,
and Nepal really gave me that as well. Like, it made me value so much what I had.
Wow. Okay.
Like, I almost, I just wasn't aware of it, like took it for granted a little bit. Like, I was really grateful for Madrid, but I didn't realize like how rich we are.
Yes.
Compared to what I experienced there.
Yeah. I love it here. Well, and you know what? I just love that that I live in, like here in this house in Cohabs, because there's a few in Madrid. They're all great, but this one is in such a great location. It's in Olavide.
One of the best areas.
Yeah, Chamberí is just gorgeous. Like, I come out and I have this like that beautiful little plaza there, and all the little like boutique stores here. There's just such a nice sense of community around this Cohabs. So yeah,
you know, I love this room because I've been to other rooms of Cohabs as well, but this one is like the ceilings are so high, and they have like such huge, like, I don't know, painting decoration.
The decoration in the wall and the ceiling. No, I really do.
The fact that you have a terraza, that's like,
I have like this balcony, and every time they send me like the email of like renewing my contract, I'm like, yes, because I don't want to lose my room. I love this room. I've become so attached to it. And so immediately I'm like, yes, renew. But
Renata also has been here for such a long time, right? She's so happy.
You know, it's interesting because Cohabs, for a lot of people, it's just kind of where you come in, you live for a few months, and then you leave. It's not typically a temporary, it's not a permanent place. It's more of a temporary thing when you're passing through and you want to experience a city for a few months, or you haven't found an apartment yet or something like that. But like for us, it's become like truly a home. Like Renata's been here for a year. I've almost been here for a year, which is crazy to think because I originally signed a 3-month lease and I thought it was going to be that and that's it. But now I've been here for like 10 months or something. So, it can really become a home, you know, and because of the people here and like the things that we do together, the events that we do together. Eventually I will have to say goodbye to Cohabs and move into an apartment, but that doesn't mean that it's goodbye forever, because even when you leave Cohabs, you are still a part of the community, because they even have like a group chat, a WhatsApp group chat for those who have left, to maintain that community. And you can stay in the WhatsApp group chat of the house if you want to and join in on the events that they have, even if you don't live here. So
it's great also that they have so many events.
Yeah.
They're planning a yoga event.
Yeah. Well, anyway, to wrap up, thank you so much, Ollie. This was such a good conversation. Of course. Thank you for coming. No, I loved it so much.
I have to say, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of the person that you're becoming. Like,
thank you.
Really, you're an inspiration. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, me too. That makes
see, like, really keep doing what you're doing and keep believing in yourself. Don't let anyone bring you down.
Thank you so much. I love, like, in the conversation we had on your birthday as well. Like, I love that. But yeah, thank you. And it's been so nice. And I've been dying to have this conversation with you because we talked about it like over a month ago, but you had to go to Nepal. So I'm glad that we finally did it. I think this is going to be an awesome episode. I'm so excited. But yeah, thank you so much. Thanks, guys, for listening. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Drop a comment, share, like, and don't forget to subscribe so you can tune in to the future episodes. I think the next episode is going to be with a Cohabs member, actually, who is half Finnish, half Bangladesh. Very cool mix, and also has an insane background. So yeah, tune in for the next episode. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting and listening. Love you all. Mwah. Bye.